Hey everyone, back again. Just a little update. I'm sitting waiting for a reply from Father and Council. Um, so right now I'm in a waiting mode. I'm still in the same location. I was at a cheap motel, as I mentioned, right close to actually a church, not a motel, but a home close to uh, what is believed to be the original tomb of Christ. So I'm still just kept here in a waiting mode with Father and by divine counsel to where I need to go next. I put out some tentative um, timelines of what I felt I would like to do, and I do require rest, and so the way it works is that I follow the divine plan, total surrender to that, and of course I'm guided to where I must go. However, sometimes I do make choices of my own, and you can say I submit them to Father and Divine Council, but I am a part of Divine Council as well, and we take care of these things in the higher consciousness in the etheric realm. So right now, with this consciousness, what I'm communicating with you from, I'm in a waiting mode, and so I asked Father, what do I do? And just said, wait and wait. So I'm still here in Jerusalem and waiting, and I will see what transpires. Perhaps by 11 a.m. Uh, on the following day, I will have more of a direction on what I'm doing. Uh, so when I spoke with Father, some some direction that I would like to take, as I mentioned, to go towards Florida perhaps, or a warmer place for a month. That would be great. That is pending yet. So, uh, and the reason why it's pending is because, again, and there, I need to speak the truth. It's important where I'm at upon the surface, and also with all of you at any given time. Um, However, perhaps, with I, where I surrendered uh, in the humanoid form fully to uh, the mission, what I must carry out here, then therefore it is decided where I go, and by my decision and the higher realm's decision as well. So, having said that, I am mostly consciously in this conscious at the mercy of the divine plan, and I follow that in very little times. I don't make decisions on where I go next. Uh, what I do is I wait for to be given, the information divinely to where I go next. So this time I'm just sitting here waiting uh, and watching, and again I've been sharing many things with you over the last few days of all of the confirmations that are undeniable and irrefutable. I'm just looking around to see if anything else comes up, and just in a waiting mode here until I see what transpires. I got an incoming important message. I know very soon. One of my messengers, the from the Crow family, he just come up above and just let me know. So I got a message coming in real soon. Uh, Not meaning if it's on the path I'm to go here or where I'm to go, but just that generally there's an important message coming in. One thing I can say here now with Father too, um, I've been making many requests right from the physical avatar and consciousness here this morning. And again, one of the requests is to fully open access to the funds for all of us, which is, it can be done in the blink of an eye. And but there is a divine timing with that. Um, However, when I asked Father, just a bit ago, just before making this live, um, it's also what I had asked this morning about releasing the abundance for all right now, and so even that is pending, is what Father and Council said. Uh, Opening the floodgates is pending. But I liked, the exact wording of that, opening the floodgates. So, I feel it's with the prosperity, the abundance, but I didn't ask precisely what it meant. A lot of times I just don't ask questions when I'm given the messages. It comes from the inner knowing to know what the messages mean and what they apply to. However, with messages, what I wish to share with you with your different messages, it's important to note that there can be several meanings with one message, so, and several perspectives. So I wish to share that important thing. And in relation to, let's say, the floodgates being open, another beautiful perspective or perception of that is that, let's say, the floodgates are open for the masses to rise up now as well. And that does go hand in hand with the floodgates to abundance being opened, because that is part of our mission here, is to transition humanity very quickly. And part of that is with the monetary systems and the way everything worked. And, the important work that all of you and all of us together has been doing. It's possible that, let's say, in the next while for humanity, they will not fully know who all partook in making this possible, and also they may not, know individually who all of us are. However, they may as well. So our mission is to deliver this unto humanity, which we're doing, and assist them to transition, and that is the divine plan. Now, having said that, I know uh, at least some of you, and perhaps many of you, have spent times in parallel timelines and, different dimensions for maybe an hour or maybe a day or two. And so, we know these are your abilities, and, it's very real to do. And I was thinking this morning, just to share with you, there was one time I lived 2 Thursdays over. Although they were different for I, it was only one day had passed in the outside world, and so that was quite comical. It happened, several times, but a reset of a one full day was kind of interesting and comical. But these you're given these experiences as well to introduce you to what is coming, what is here now, and also, to show you that it's very real, so that when the time comes, your belief and your knowing is what activates your gifts stronger to do this, with things like bilocating, your multi-dimensional abilities, and your non-restriction to the lower density planes. And what I mean by the lower density planes is within your being, your inner work. That is part of releasing you from the lower density planes. And the lower densities are all of the negative emotions that are not, to keep it quite simple, are not in alignment with what's good for all, what is love, and also what is truth. And truth plays a very important part in this. Uh, in one aspect, many, sometimes they'll refrain from speaking their truth. They'll conceal it. And, we are in these times that it's very important that part of speaking your truth while doing your inner work is what changes your reality. And it's part of your lessons as well, to be able to speak the truth and to not keep anything concealed or anything secretive. For a form, if you quickly look at it, to conceal is a fear action. And it is a fear mechanism to not fully, genuinely speak your truth and be authentic. And it's restrictive. And for what we are, what all of we are, we do not wish to have any restrictions that also separate you from your inner power, from your power as co-creators. You cannot be restrictive. You move forward with discipline and discernment, but you don't wish to restrict yourself from your power. So part of the process is speaking your truth and keep evolving upward with the levels. And again, I've said, it's okay for, if there's 1 million Jesus Christs upon the planet now, if there's 1 million Buddhas, what have you, that is perfect. And if there's 1 million Mary Magdalenes, if there's 1 million Mother Marys, hey, that's much more perfect as well, because look what you're doing. You're being the peers, and when you come out and share that, you are setting a precedent for the new timelines. You are the role models for the new timelines, and when you stand in your divine authority, you change reality very quickly. Not only your own reality, but the reality for all. And this is again what we came here to do. And it's not an individual soul job to do this. It's all together. It's the strength in the numbers and the unity what creates a very invincible energetic field on Gaia, which ascends all of humanity. We don't need all of the masses awakened, as you're seeing. Look at the great progress that we've all made at revealing the corruption and the pedophiles, the satanic rituals, the church. I mean, not everyone is awakened, as you know, but look what we have done. So this shows you we don't need the masses awakened, and we never did. It's us, like so many of you say. We are the chosen ones. We are incarnated here now. Own your divine authority, speak your truth, and speak your power. And having said this, Sharon and I were here in Jerusalem, and yes, we took on the roles of Mary Magdalene and Christ as co-creators to change the energetic imprint of history as well. And these are the levels I work on. But let me say, if there's another Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ out there right in this now, come here to Jerusalem. This is the center. And go in and do your activations, whatever you're guided to do. It's so important, and this goes for all of you. So Sharon and I have at least left our energetic imprint in there. It's documented. There is no doubt with this. Everything that I do not doubt. And we have our confirmations later. I don't require confirmations, but it's so beautiful when I get them and I'm able to share them with you. Everything is concrete. And know and believe and fully in yourself, in your connection to Prime Creator. Let nothing sway you, not even fear. As I mentioned, part of my, before I was awakened, part of my human life, if you will, involved being a target by governments and, the corruption and finding out uh, the reality of all of it before I was awakened. But that was part of my soul's agreement to come here and, get the goods on the inside, get the first-hand look at it, but not have the consciousness of who I was, because then that would have changed everything. So when the time was right in 2011, I believe, 2010, then I was told who I was and what my role here was to do. And we are all prophets, and put your word out. Do not hesitate and trust it. You are prophets, but you're also co-creators. And when you're given a message for, let's say perhaps there's going to be a 5.6 earthquake off of San Francisco, put that out there, but put it out in a good way. This is your truth, and it establishes your divine authority and your credibility. Don't hesitate on these, and don't, when you receive a message, like if there's going to be an earthquake and then you don't put anything out and then you see it afterwards, and then you may go on to Facebook and say, oh yeah, I received that message. Well, that does nothing. Put it out before. Put your messages out there. Please, I emphasize it. It's so important. There's so many. All of you are prophets here, and again, your peers. You need to put your stuff out. Don't refrain from it. It's all truth, and all of you know that. And again, all of us together doing this, it rapidly changes the timelines much more. And people, souls or ones like us, cannot be complacent. It does not get done by being complacent. Know your co-creational powers, know your creational powers, and be a part of that, and use it to the fullest. They're stronger than they ever have been. Many of you know it, with your manifestations, little manifestations that may have been, yes, for yourself and selfish, but it's allowed to show you that it exists and that it's real. With the higher manifestations, they are part of the divine plan, and everyone is divinely coordinated geographically where you are on the surface here. However, your power always works, and if it just doesn't seem sometimes as it doesn't, that's just because it's not divinely approved. But let me tell you, you do have the power. All of us do. And we would not be sent here in the humanoid form if we didn't. You overpowered the darkness and you mastered so much of the lower densities within you. It's not for anything. It's not just to sit with it. You gotta use it. You gotta own it. So I guess, I've been preaching quite a bit, and what's comical about that too, at times I need to remind myself, when we're doing extensive work in the 4D level, sometimes you can get a little bit overtired, and you're trying to straddle two worlds, but you always have the correct information, and everything always does work out divinely perfect, because there is the total divine plan, the total script, that we all know it from within our souls. You just don't have it in your consciousness, because that changes everything you do. So this is why you're told to act from your heart, to follow that, to trust your instincts, trust your intuition and your feelings, and follow that. And now, however, with that, there may come very rarely and exceptionally, sometimes what you're feeling may be overridden by divine authority. And if it is, it's because of the priority of the situation. So please recognize that. And there are times that you need to trust from the conscious level and, integrate more of the divine logic, which is actually above the human logic, to assist you with that. But this is a very extreme, rare case, and I don't feel any of you will experience something like that. However, everything is possible, and we're not given, at least I'm not given all of, we're not all given all of everything what occurs. And again, it's, the future, even though we know the future, we know the past, we exist for all time. Again, it's divinely assured that you're not given too much of the futures. Now, the clairvoyant ones, for sure, they're given their prophetic messages to put out. That's why they're clairvoyant, as well as the oracles, the prophets, the sibyls, and the amazing divine feminine that can actually hear the voice of God within their head, giving them the instruction, giving them the message. And it's so important for these ones to also get out there, stand out, get your stuff out there. So it's very beautiful to share with you, a development, which a message from a dear brother sent me, that let's just say that the light communities, that things are being set up for them. So I've seen it from another avenue, and I just love the message that I received. All of this is real, and it's coming to fruition. So, these are several or more ones that I know that are, that have taken the initiate, but have gone further in planning and beginning to integrate the light community. So it's all out there, and it is coming. And these are very important as well, as all of you know, the light communities, because when you're not separated and you're in the company of other like-minded, light ones, you become much more powerful, you assist each other, and you raise each other up much quicker. The strength is in numbers, your power is in numbers, it's all in unity. So again, the more that you can unite and gather, if you will, or be together in love and harmony, the more change that is reflected out in the reality. The more of you together doing this, you create the higher energetics, you create the positive charge, the positive ions in your surroundings, and it affects reality. It emanates outward from you. And this is also, why you can see some days, if you're very happy or walking down the street, you see couples holding hands, people laughing, and then you can compare that to a day when you had a bad hair day, if you will. You got up in the morning and you walk out and everyone's blowing their horns and, and everyone's cranky. So you can see the effects, that you have on your reality. But as you become stronger and stronger as co-creators, you're affecting on a wide scale. As we say, one empowered, enlightened light worker affects millions. You are angels. It's what you are. And you're sent here to do a very important divine mission. And that's not to hide and work from the side. This mission is quite different. It needs the divine representatives taking their prominent roles upon the surface and letting it be known who they are and what they're doing, and stepping up to that and not taking not accepting any of the BS, and this is how we transition things. In Finland, it's beautiful to watch that as an example. I looked at a couple articles this morning from Finland. The amazing divine feminine. Yes, I'll say they're divine feminine. It's politics and things that I don't fully agree with, but there has to be some form of administration here for the planet during the transition. And as all of you know, governments to certain degrees will be part of that transition. But getting back to Finland, you see a very appreciable young divine feminine there, and I just, I know her name, but the Prime Minister of Finland, she's been putting out one thing that what she is going to push forward for the Finland people is a, what is it? It's a 4-day work week, 6 hours a day. So there you go. You know, these are things that we were working on for years, and what we were working on is that humanity should not have to work any more than perhaps 3 days a week, 3 or 4 hours. So, you know, with that, with Finland, what's coming out, that is an indicator. It is here in the reality. So all of these prophetic things and what the spiritual communities have been saying for, you know, a decade or perhaps even more is very real. We're creating it. It's coming into fruition, and it's irrefutable, undeniable. Also, you take with Finland, there was another thing as well. Yeah, they're almost wiped out homelessness there. And it was very good to see that they're taking that transitory steps at doing it, making sure people have places to live, giving them the social assistance, the monetary assistance they need. And, you know, this is part of what we're doing for the planet as well, is the homelessness is not acceptable at all. It's ridiculous. It's the government that caused the homelessness. It's because of their monetary policies and the ridiculous childish nonsensical policies, and their greed for money and making everyone believe that money is restricted. Money is not restricted. As we know, it's just paper, it's just digital, and nothing has to rest on how much you have to have bullion or backing for it. You know, the U.S. amazingly has shown that, and it sets the example for all. And, you know, the ridiculous things where a child in the U.S., the day it's born, because of the national debt, owes $60,000. Like, come on. That is how absurd the governments were. But it was all done intentional to keep everyone suppressed in a way, and it was done in a way to control. We all know this, but we are in the times now. It's no longer accepted, and none of you should accept it as it is. I see as I'm talking, the sky is, I get some pretty pink coming here, and more of a purple magenta coming over there. I see the change. I'll give you, I don't know if you can see on this or not. So there you go. It's a purple, pink, just enough. I can see it with my eyes here, but I didn't look to see if it shows up on the camera. Sometimes I know that it doesn't, but so it's what else can I say? So, you know, it's great. Keep stepping up into your power and your authority, and anything that no longer serves for the good for all and for yourself, anything that does not serve peace harmony, unity, abundance, freedom. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to integrate that into your being. So don't allow it. You're allowed to say no, and you're also allowed to change your mind on things. So know that that is true, because we're ever evolving, and one day you might be in a lower timeline where you said something that you were going to do something, but the next day you may be in a higher timeline where you say, no, I'm not going to do it. It's not that you lie, it's just that you change what your intentions were, and that's perfectly okay as well. So don't restrict yourself because you said something one day that you really need to honor it, and that would depend upon what it is as well. So it's important to retain your integrity, yes, and making your word what it is. But in these times, it may be a good idea to not fully commit when you say something, and use, perhaps you will, or you may. Don't say you will, because there is a difference with that. So that's a little tip as well. And yeah, so many things. I was going to do a write-up on the new 5D relationships, and but I was going to focus it towards the co-creators, the divine unions, and the twin flames. However, most of you know what needs to be done and how two of you come together, and the co-creational abilities that two of you are given by combining your energy in a divine relationship. And with this, I suggest anyone that's listening that does this work at putting the information out for others that it is time. We need to put out the higher teachings now, because there are the divine unions are taking on a whole new level, and we need to get out more of the information, what's going on, and to share that with all, because you're entering the levels where each one's individual sensations has been heightened, your energetic fields. And what this does, it takes you out of the realms of the human relationship. And with this, there are new responsibilities and new, let's say, rules that apply to this. With these divine sacred unions, you are given immense creational powers, and it cannot be abused. It needs to be learned so that it's not abused, and to know how to apply it, where to apply it, and to know that it is a divine gift as well to be in a divine sacred union. So, and with the new 5D relationships, as I touched on, all of you are to be peers in that for humanity as well. So you are to set the examples as part of your divine work. It's something for humanity to look at. If they see you with your divine partner and full love and happy, and you're making a very huge impression. And especially if you're out going around the town with your partner, holding hands and kissing in public, and just being in full love. And this is the thing that people notice, and after more and more does it, it's also contagious. But it makes them stop and look, and in the least they'll say, wow, that couple has immense love, and it's good, and I'd rather have that than being cranky. So just to keep it a little bit simple, you get the point for sure. And however, with these lives, we all know this, but there are occasionally new ones that are awakening and advancing themselves to higher levels, that every bit of information that we can purvey and get out there for them it assists them to evolve much quicker as well, because everything is speeding up with the ascension. And also the more information we get out there, the better it is. And the internet has been a very beautiful divine tool for doing that and distributing all of the important information, not only to all of you, but it's setting a template for humanity that's accessible to them when the time is right for them. So, we are the legacy. I just looked at the Legacy Motel here to remind me, it's a very beautiful reminder. I look at that each time I'm up here, pretty much, the legacy that we all are, and that we've created. And again, nothing stops this. It is so, and many of you know it, and all of your indicators are there, and the white dove going, on top of the roof. It's a little bit far away, or I'd show you her. Might not see it in this camera. But yeah, we've won, and we did it, yeah. And we just need to have the patience to let it fully integrate into the timelines. And as Father said, last February I was doing an interview with Linda Summers. It's a transitional process. During that interview, things like the RV, said I didn't want for us to do that. I wanted for us to just jump to the full open QFS. And back then, Father said it's a transitional process. And wow, excuse me. That's what he said. It's a transitional process, but we do have the ability to jump it. However, that is in accordance with the divine plan, if it's allowed as well. So we keep empowering and energizing these freedom mechanisms, especially in the financial freedom areas. And all together, we keep our intents and towards that. And the quicker we do, and the quicker we empower it and energize it, the quicker it comes into fruition for humanity to have it more directly connected to this reality. So it's important to keep the intents and the goals out there towards all of the good things, abundance, harmony, love, and peace, as we all know. Well, I've been on here for quite a bit. I will stop this now, and thank you. I wasn't watching at comments with this. It may be possible I'll do a live later today where we can just do some questions and answers if you want. However, I said I may because I don't wish to restrict myself to anything, and but I may just do that while I'm still waiting for Father to give me direction on where to go. As I said, I do wish to have a rest. I do wish to be in a warm climate. This physical vessel has been transitioning over the last 2 weeks to a more crystalline, and during that process, this body enjoys more heat. So it's just part of what I wish. So I wish for a warmer climate for perhaps a month to rest. It would be nice if Sharon and I is together, but during that. But if we're not, well, we converse on the phone back and forth, and that's beautiful. Love knows no bounds, for sure. So we'll see what goes on with that. That is one of my requests I've put in. to see if I could get a warmer place and just relax for about a month. I'm also given many things are going to transition during this month of January, very important things. January 10th. January 10th. Not given what it is, but it's a very significant date. I'm given that much. I was given that a bit back, but I never shared it with anyone until now. I don't believe publicly. So January the 10th is a very important date. And also this is kind of why I am in a waiting mode here to see what the divine plan is. Tentatively, when we began with this Ascension caravan mission, it was to go to Jerusalem, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, India, Indonesia, then Australia. However, that has changed, and that was a tentative plan. So right at now, it's looking like I don't even need to go to Egypt, because I asked Father, do I need to go, and what I was given on that the other day, that perhaps by April. But what I'm saying is it's not a requirement for, at least in this now, unless the divine plan changes in a moment, and it can. But right in this now, I'm feeling there's not a requirement for I to go to Egypt or Saudi Arabia. I believe and I feel very good with the mission is complete here in Jerusalem. I've seen the seals, the confirmations. I've shared many of those with you. The divine feminine mother has risen. This morning the crowning was displayed within the picture that I showed you, but not only that picture, several others are all connected to it that draws the clear picture of what the crowning this morning meant in that area. So she has risen, and this is very important because these are the motherly creation aspects as well, that is no longer done from an energetic space. It's done by the combination of the physical female feminine representation with the energetics integrated right here onto the surface, which gives more of a direct control in this reality, in these timelines, to the creational aspects that will be done to further ensure the timelines. So it's very important. So now we have the fatherly and the motherly aspect incarnated, you can say, to higher degrees within all of us upon the surface. And with that comes a very impressive power, but it also carries great responsibilities and a great discernment and discipline in using this. So I just wish to reiterate, just walking around this beautiful place, seeing if there's any other signs coming up. So keep putting out the peace for the whole world. It was beautiful with Australia. We saw the activation there, activated very intently. There are old prophecies all around Gaia from native indigenous peoples, and we all come to know that these prophecies, like with the Mayans and the Aborigine and many more indigenous peoples, that these are all very true. These comes from the peoples that were more in touch with Creator, and that was, let's say, not kind of had a manipulative control in between them and Creator. So these are very important messages where things were not manipulated to the degree that a lot of religions were. So it's very important to, again, to look at what's occurring. So with Uluru, that major activation, and as some of you know, that was from the old ley line system, the old 3D ley line system. That was a major nodule, and what we can share is that we kept that one for the 5D. So the Uluru is a 5D nodule, and where that intense lightning was there, that means it's locked in, it's secured for the 5D for Australia. So things will change there very rapidly as well. And one of the things is with the fires being put out there. And so we just wish for there to be no fires, and that is a stronger way to create, by not thinking that and believing that there is fires there. So you do, the way you create is to create by saying the positive in the now, and then you bring it into reality. And that is the quicker way to refine your creational abilities as well. So you just, for example, you don't say there's no more fires there or something like that. That doesn't suffice to create what we wish. You just keep it very concise, what you wish, and then you bring that into fruition. So just saying, perhaps there's complete harmony in Australia, and then you trust that with your heart, and that is your intent, and you will see it come to fruition. That's when it's supposed to as well. But that's how you apply your creational gifts to any energetic exercise or to any outcome which we desire, which is for the good for all. That's enough. Woo! Love you all. And thank you for letting me get all of this out. So have a beautiful day, and love you. Lots of winks. We did it. And it just keeps getting better. So have an amazing day. I love you. Amazing morning, amazing evening, wherever you're at, or even if you're on another timeline, have an amazing experience there as well. So it's cool. So I love you all. Thank you. Bye.